We are building the calculator project from the YByte Python curriculum available at www.ybyte.in. Previously, we saw that using Lambda functions, we could make our number keys functional, which means that when I click the number, the number would get appended onto the text box, no matter which number I was printing. Now let's take a slight detour here and try to understand better what these Lambda functions are. Well, really, Lambda functions are single line functions with no name. They are defined using the Lambda keyword. We'll see some examples later. They can take arguments. The syntax is always Lambda source expression. So the way to think of Lambda functions are very, very simple functions which kind of provide a mapping between arguments and this expression, because by the syntax you can have exactly just one line of expression. So whenever you need like a very simple function, you could use a Lambda function there. Let's take some examples. Let's say we had a function which multiplies two numbers. Now the regular way of doing that would be define a function using def keyword. So mult, for example, xy is two input arguments, and return, for instance, x times y. Now you may think that this function is so simple, just one expression. Let me make do with a slightly junior version of a function called the Lambda function, which can be done in a single line, but just saying, like I said, mapping between arguments to the expression. So it has exactly just one line of code, and that's what we can do. Now when I, for example, call let's say m to 4, that's basically saying that, look, this m, I pass in arguments 2 and 4, and hence I get 8. Similarly, I could have done a sum, but then I can also do this, let's say a lambda, because again, this is just one single expression. So that is 30. Now, you may wonder, why is this useful, and where all can it be used? That's a fair question. Really, Lambda functions are useful when we have some simple, quick computations to be done, for which we wouldn't want to write a normal function, right? So, very small, simple computation. Lambda functions can also be used along with other functions, for example, map and filter, which work on lists and other iterables to get a concise code. Now, really, this will be somewhat beyond the scope of this video. So what I would do is to put a few links in the description. Please take a look at them, and if there's interest, I'll be more than happy to discuss with you. Let's, however, understand how Lambda functions are helping us in our code. Let's once again go back and look at this and try to see this in the light of in the light of what we have seen in this video. So recall, here we had a function called pressNum with a single argument. Now what we are doing is that we are saying command is equal to lambda colon pressNum7. Now look at this carefully. The syntax always is lambda arguments colon mapping. In this case, there are no arguments. However, we have a single expression here, which is pressNum7. So the way, or say 7, 8, whatever, the way to understand this is that, well, when I click this command, an anonymous function gets created for me. That function goes and it can do just one line of code, and that one line of code happens to be pressNum, to which I pass this argument 7. Now, really, at this point of time, I wouldn't want you to worry too much about the Lambda function beyond this. The important bit, and this is significant, that thanks to this Lambda, we are able to make all our keys work the way we would want them to work, and that is where the power is seen. As far as the other users are concerned, as you gain more experience, you will see this being used in the code, and all you need to know is that this is a small function with a single expression, and then it all makes sense, by the context of it. I hope you found this useful. In general, if you think this way of learning is fun, where we build activities, we see things working, and we try to understand how they work, look at our website, because that's how we learn programming. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.